So let's say you get a music reviewer onto a television show and you use one line of dialogue by them. Would you use the line of dialogue about choreography? Well, it was worth it just to see Momoko's reaction. Anyway, let's get started on this live stream. Hey everyone. Hello. Well, that was rather entertaining, wasn't it? Oh my god. Yeah, I'm really happy that happened, and yet at the same time, I'm not surprised by the way that turned out. But oh wow. 45 minutes of interview with a music reviewer, and you take the one line where he talks about choreography. I'm going to be honest, choreography has never been my strong point. I've said that repeatedly on here, and I can't believe that's all they got out of it. But watching the program back, watching the format, I kind of got why they had to shave that down. But wow. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit more, but let's have a look at it. 45 minutes condensed to 45 seconds. Man, I was not on that screen for 45 seconds. I was not on that screen for 45 seconds. I had more time in the intro reel than I actually had speaking. And even that, they edited the gaps in speech down, so you could see they were really pushing for time. But yeah, I'm going to try and get the full interview. I've been speaking a lot to the producers, and they've been very nice. Obviously, they didn't tell me about how much cutting was involved, but I think it won't be a problem to get a copy of the full interview. I'll just say, obviously, that it'll be interesting for you guys to see the full thing. And like I said, I wanted to put that on as one of our banter sections, so I will be doing that. Yeah, interesting enough, one of the most interesting conversations I had with them during the interview was about the like I say, the impact of this kind of music in 2020. But we had a really long conversation about that, which must have gone on for about 10 minutes, which is probably why they didn't use any of it, because it was impossible to shorten it down. Instead, they went for the other woman who gave a much more concise story. So I kind of got that. That made sense. I didn't know they were going to use 4 people. My understanding was 2 people. So 4 was a lot, which further lent into that. But yeah, that was interesting. The funny thing is this, for anyone who doesn't know, this is now my 3rd time on Japanese television. And what shocks me is this is by far the shortest. This is by far the shortest appearance I made of the 3. But it was worth it. You might have noticed on the if you haven't seen it, look at the thumbnail of this video. Did you see? I haven't seen that yet. No, Sven, haven't seen that one yet. But I will be getting around to that. I am aware of it. But yeah. Anyway, hi to everyone. Thanks TXM for saying that. It was pretty cool. I think I didn't have enough time to let anyone down, which was probably a good side of it. But I guess I'm assuming that what the band saw was only what was played live. So it's a shame, because I thought there was a really good chance to connect more, and especially at the end. I think probably the only 2 things that disappointed me, because I feel, like I said, I completely understand the way they cut the show. It made a lot of sense actually seeing it back. The only 2 things that disappointed me slightly was at the end of the show, like the presenter gave a roundup, but they actually asked us in the interview to give final messages, final thoughts. And I thought that would have been much more interesting to put in those final thoughts from us, the interviewees, than to have the presenter round it up. And furthermore, on top of that, I did think that one of the presenters maybe did more talking than the band. It was like, but just my opinion. Otherwise, though, it was a nicely done show. It was really well edited, and like I say, I think they seem to pick interesting stuff in there. What they had, I mean, obviously knowing the chat that I had for 45 minutes with them, there was a lot of better material, but I can see there was no room to put that in. And obviously priority goes towards letting the band talk, and they did get some really interesting stuff from the band. You know, there was a really interesting conversation with the band. So have a look at sort of some people saying, the thumbnail of this stream is great. Thanks for that, Sven. Thank you very much. Mocha's face when you saw, yeah, I noticed that her there was a few seconds where she was like, and then just her face lit up, and you could see there was and so for me, I don't think I got a huge amount out of my presence on it, but it was nice to have gained a reaction. I did manage to successfully record it all, by the way. So I just read Lazy Lion was saying about what interviews can I still see them. Just to recover that point. I recorded it off of the NHK, so I will be trying to upload that. There's not really much to upload, but I'll upload the little bit that there was. I'll do like one of those reaction videos reacting to my own presence for 15 seconds on television. And like I say, I'm going to get the producers to give me a copy of the full 45-minute interview so that I can present that, so you guys can see that. I believe your segment was the shortest of the four. I think so. I think it was, yeah. Reactor has become the reactor. it's very true. Very true, Marta. Very true. Yeah, like I say, I guess really the two things that come out of this which are positives. At least you guys will get to see the full thing, and at least I got a little bit of a rise from my presentation. We got a reaction from Momoko. So I should just upload it as a video, and I should just upload the video Momoko reacts to. I'm going to do that. Momoko reacts to Howard. Reaction video. Sounds great, says TXM. Can I see it on NHK World? Yeah, it just finished. They'll play it again in 6 hours. It's going to be every 6 hours today, from what they told me on the original broadcast form. However, if that's not the case, if there was a change since the original contract was signed, which is possible, then I think you'll be able to watch it on playback. But I think but they said the playback will take a few weeks to appear. But based on the last episode, which was available days ago, like right after it came out, I imagine this episode will be watchable on playback very soon, if not already. So definitely worth having a little look at that. By the way, just because this stream, a few of you might notice I struggled a bit to make this go live because it went live without my consent. The new version of YouTube is fucking awful. Went live without my consent, and therefore there was just a video uploaded to me a few seconds ago looking at the screen going, which wasn't exactly what you'd call top shelf entertainment. Let's just check that it did delete that, because I really wanted it to delete that. I don't want it confusing people who are coming over and watching the wrong thing. Oh, good. Yes, it just shows me live as... Yes, I think that was a good thumbnail. I managed to get a screenshot from the interview where she looked very happy at what was being said. Hey, PK. Welcome. So anyone who missed the broadcast... Doesn't look like you missed very much. Anyone who saw the broadcast, thank you so much for sitting through. If you're a fan, then it wouldn't have been a problem anyway, because I think it was quite... I like the fact that they allowed them to play all 4 songs. That was really good. I thought that was... I think it was nice that there was a heavy focus on the music. And like I say, actually, if you looked at this as a viewer, not taking into consideration, like I say, what I know about the length of the interviews that they had to cut through. If you looked at it from the perspective of a viewer, I actually think that was a really good show. I think they did that very well. They got some nice little clips. They allowed the band to play lots of songs. They got some good little conversations from the band. I think the show should have been longer, to be honest. If you're going to have people and yeah, like I say, it was a bit difficult for me because obviously I had such an interesting conversation with them about music and specifically about music, and the only because this is actually, I think this is one of the biggest problems. Actually, if I was to say it, I think the biggest problem with the show is that they didn't really talk about music. Let me know. Did you guys agree? I don't think they really talked about music at all. It was very much about the choreography was talked about a lot. The like the background of the band was talked about, which I think that was good. I like that they talked to the band a lot about their background, about their perspectives. But I would have, I can't really think of any moment where they talked about music, which I think is quite sad because I still maintain for me that's by far the most interesting thing about this musical group is their music. So yeah, I'm a little bit because I watched the one from last week and they talked a lot about music with her. Then again, she's more of a traditional singer-songwriter, the lady Millet, who they spoke to last week. So yeah, I think just for me, I wish they talked to them more about music. I think that would have been interesting, but it could be because they use a lot of staff writers that they felt they didn't have as much to say. But I don't. Yeah, I think that's interesting. Let me go. Let me know what you think, guys. A lot of online services seem to be upgrading just to upgrade. Don't like the new look of a YouTube or a new Facebook. I was actually part of the test group for the new Facebook when it came out. That was months ago. It was so long ago that I forgot all about it until it suddenly appeared a couple of days ago. The new Facebook. I mean, I've always been in support of all, but I've seen so many Facebook upgrades. There was one that I didn't like about 10 years ago. But other than that, I've been supportive of all the Facebook upgrades, but this new one is horrible. It makes my, because I use it on a computer most of the time, it makes my computer look like a mobile phone. Like everything now is too big. And it's supposed to be like a touchscreen thing. It's horrible on a computer now. And plus all the notifications you want are pushed to one side so that they can highlight the stories icon. I'm sorry, but I don't know who uses stories, but no. If you want to do stories, get a TikTok account. It's better. Chinese government will spy on you, but still better. They just look like an interesting soundbite. Yeah, no, exactly. Bitch fans on Reddit well said. Like I said, I've got no problem actually against the show because, like I said, I can see for an audience it was well cut. I just know how interesting the interview was that they haven't used. So I will be, like I say, pushing them to get me a copy of the original interview as soon as is possible. Because I really want to, like I say, I really want to share that share that with you guys. Sven, the lyrics of Silent Silent Arms are really beautiful and interesting. Maybe this is a candidate for the format where you come back to react to songs. Actually, I did read the lyrics and they were fantastic. No, wait a second. Yeah, I read the chorus. Yeah, no, I saw the chorus translated. The chorus was really nicely done. So I think it was the chorus. Or was it the first verse? I saw a portion of it translated. So I think that might be one I come back for. And especially considering it's the last track on Silent Sirens album, I think that's quite a strong candidate, as you say, for a re-listen through that perspective. But I will be talking a lot more about them after September the 2nd when their album comes out. So that'll be after the Korea video. I've got a lot of things we want to pick up on them, but one of the things I will be doing is refocusing a little bit on the new Silent Siren album release, because obviously I want to support them. I don't feel that they get as many views as they deserve. I think they're a really worthy band, and a lot of bands, when they've released things like when Bandmate had their new album, when Babe Metal had their new album, even when Bish with their new album, even though with the Bish one sort of happened more sporadically, I've managed to try and keep on top of all of those. So with Silent Siren, I think considering that we're one of the few channels who really takes them seriously, then I do want to obviously really focus on them. But that will be after the Korea video's launched. They're an idol group though, and they don't write their music. Well, they do have input, and that's the problem. Is because obviously, as I've said a few times before, when you talk about bands having input in their songs, the amount of input can be very sketchy. No one ever knows from the outside. Even the artist might not be 100% sure which bits were really theirs by the time a full song's produced. But I do think, from a listener's perspective, it is one of the things that... Well, I mean, they're a musical group, and, So for me, I feel like I'm sure they would have something to say about the thing that they represent. They're presenting their music. I mean, they're involved in the lyrics as well. They talked a little bit about the lyrics, but... anyway. motto. Other than Aina, none of them have written the music, so it probably wouldn't have been relevant to ask them about it. I guess the moment I think it would have been relevant is when you're talking about the effect that the music has. And like I said, this is one of the big conversations I had with them. And I understand why the conversation I had was quite long. And the clip they showed with the girl talking about her experience when she was doing an internship, that was probably more relevant because, I wouldn't actually know, probably not as relevant, but it was much more concise. And you could see by the effect it had with Chi Chi that it was a good choice. And I totally understand why they went for that. But I do think the conversation I had with the producer was so interesting on that it would be an utter shame for it to be lost. Just my opinion. No stories on Twitter, please, says Sven. Well, Twitter basically is just stories, isn't it? It's everything's just bite size. Lays 9, if I want a story, I will read a book. Exactly. Well, when they say stories, it's so far from being an actual story. It's like a life headline. It's like the opposite of a story. I find it a really irritating feature. I'm a big supporter of Facebook in many ways. I think many of Facebook's faults are down partly to people being irresponsible more than anything. But recently, some of the choices like this stories thing is just junk. So I don't understand why anyone uses it. I don't know if anyone even consciously does. I love Silence Around Schoolgirl War. I don't think I re-uploaded that because that was definitely on the old channel. But my favourite thing about that was definitely Yukaron's keyboard bit. I love that. I love that keyboard riff. It's an amazing keyboard riff. But that song was great anyway. And the video was really fun. That was one of those songs where I think in another band, in a sort of a generic pop rock band's hands, that could have fallen really generically flat and dull. I think it was them. I think they, as a band, were able to get more out of that than another band would. And I think that sort of thing is very hard to see unless you're someone who's really into music, who follows music a lot. But yeah, I think that was one of the songs where they, as a band, shone and took a song that was decent and turned it into something really kind of with a personality. Harry. They have added separate video stories to YouTube, for God's sake. Do you need a video story on the video platform? I noticed that when you scroll through the social media types, when you use the mobile app, you get like the little short clip bit ones. Yeah. I feel bad that Vine went away because Vine so nicely cornered this. And then obviously once the business model fell through and they disappeared, and we were left in the hands of all these other companies. I still actually, at first I hated TikTok because it was just this thing for people to dance to Drake and Rihanna. But I went on there more recently, and I got to be honest, there's actually some really creative, funny stuff on there. So I think, but obviously now the American government's replaced it. But there was another thing called Reel, which is apparently appearing. I just want them to keep, if you want to do short form videos, that's a brilliant thing. But it should be an intentional thing. That's why things like TikTok and Vine work, is because people are intentionally designing them. If you take something like YouTube, then people's just going to take a short clip just to push what they're doing. Or Facebook, where someone's going to do something and they haven't really thought about it. It's just, I want to do a post. Oh, here's a quick post, which is usually just an image that appears on your screen for 3 seconds or something. It's not the right platform for that. And it reminds me of that thing which I really hate now. Like movie trailers. Movie trailers are supposed to be a short, condensed way that you can look at what a movie is going to be like before it comes out. But now, a movie trailer, before it starts, will have like a 3-second movie trailer on the front, which is just there to keep your attention long enough that you'll watch the movie trailer. Because apparently, movie trailers develop too slowly for people's attention span nowadays. Movie trailers. So you have to put a short movie trailer on the front of your movie trailer. Sorry, I can get really angry about that subject. Before Bleeps, did the contract cover future use by NHK? It sounded like it covered everything else. Yeah, no, it was very comprehensive, and I was fine with it. I had no problem with it. It was a fairly standard contract. It gives them a lot of power over the footage, but it did sufficiently protect my rights to the footage. It gave them right to use it, but it gave me right against misrepresentation and various things. So it was, it was, in my opinion, it was fine. It's not like they were taking anything from me other than conversation. So I had nothing to lose in that front, and they protected me against, sort of defamation, etc. So, no problem at all. but they will be using it a lot in repeats and future broadcasts, I'm pretty sure. Although, future broadcasts of this program, I don't think it'll be re-edited and uploaded for anything else. Lazies, by the way, during the WoW weekend, you didn't do Gang Parade. Now they are sad. I didn't do Gang Parade. Maybe I didn't. Sorry, I'm really bad at remembering this sort of stuff. I thought I did do Gang Parade. I know I missed out at least something that was really popular. I picked my artist for that very carefully, though. I was very careful about the artists I chose for that. I'm just loading up the screen to have a look. I'll check that in a second. Hello, Martin. No, he did go Gang Parade. He didn't do Carry Loose. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. I don't remember doing Carry Loose. I remember doing Gang Parade, though. Gang Parade are no more. Go to the Beds. Now that stuff is interesting. Yeah, Go to the Beds was one I was very close to doing it, but I didn't have enough time. That would have been my next choice if I'd had time. He did. How the hell did I miss that? Says Lady Line. Let's just have a little look. I'll try and drop you a link. Hold on a second. I'm just going through it now. In my videos list. Where's the Work Weekend? Work Weekend. Work Weekend. Work Weekend. Work Weekend. Work Weekend. Oh, my word. Here we go. Gang Parade. I'm going to copy that link and I'm going to pop that. I think I'm allowed to post links in chat. If I'm not allowed to post links in my own chat, that's messed up. Okay. Don't watch it now because you're watching me, but keep that. And then that should link you to the Gang Parade video, which was Love You. Love You. However you want to pronounce that. So check that out. Oh, well, you got the link now. So I'll find it, no worries. But I just posted the link, so you're good. You're good. I think you just type that because this video is kind of out of time. It's not 100% live. I think I've said before it's about 30 seconds behind reality half the time when I do this. Actually, talking about movie trailers, I wonder if I'm the only person who says this, but I've been secretly waiting for years to see the new Bill and Ted film, and I've been very happy to see the trailers. I don't expect it to be like the biggest belly laugh thing. It never was to me. I love those films because they weren't like sort of ultra laugh out loud, massive comedy set piece humor. It was just kind of refreshing, light, fun sort of humor. And it looks like they've kept that for the new one. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I was really happy that those trailers came out. I'm really happy that there's going to be a new Bill and Ted film in 4 days. 4 days. I can go with that. Let's have a look here. PK, some music videos have a short clip at the beginning too, like movie trailers, but I haven't seen those in a while, thankfully. I think Dreamcatcher did that. It wouldn't surprise me if a Korean group did it, because that kind of is in line with what you'd expect more from a K-pop group. But yeah, again, I can't abide that either. Doesn't make any sense. I have seen a few since I've been doing this channel, but as a percentage thing, probably less than 1%, but enough to be consciously noticeable. So yeah. Oh, by the way, a big thank you to everyone who's dropping likes. About half of you have liked apparently, according to YouTube. Any likes are greatly appreciated. As always, the channel's been a bit slow since we came back a few months ago because obviously we're not able to re-hit all the big artists who we were talking about before, which means that any likes certainly do help us a lot now because we're not going to get as much of the normal through flow as we're now mostly talking about smaller artists. Which, to be honest, I'm really enjoying talking about smaller artists a lot of the time. It's refreshing. Makes me feel quite good. I've got a message. It's message is telling me to do the live stream, which is fine. Why has my background changed to some random lake? Oh, now it's changed to another lake. Oh wow! Every time I put it asleep and wake it back up, it changes my lock screen. Never noticed that before. Awesome. I'm going to put in one quick caveat, by the way, for anyone who was on the Discord a week or so ago. I just want to point out that the issue between myself and my significant other is resolved. Everything's okay on that front, by the way. I won't go into details, as well you shouldn't, and I was good enough not to go into details at the time. I kept that nice and clear. But yes, for anyone who was aware that there was an issue, that issue is resolved. Everything is back to normal. So that's one good thing that's happening. No Momoko lock screen. 0 out of 10. Yeah, no. The funny thing is that actually I think the reason why I don't actually know the reason I don't have a lock screen on this one is I use this one for work. So this phone is technically speaking borrowed. So the other phone that has a specific lock screen. Um, Harry saying, by the way, I'll be working on some new subtitle projects this week. So while I'm doing that, I'll be find you a good live version of Scandals Love Survive for the comparison with Girlfriend. Yeah, I want to record that soon. If you can find me a link for that quite soon, I'd really appreciate it. Because that's one of the ones I want to record this week. Like I say, this is another thing just to remind you, if you haven't been on the Discord much there, and thank you for the extra couple of likes, guys. Keep them coming in. Really does help with our popularity on the YouTube matrix. Yeah, so this week I'm going to try and put out a couple of videos. I think we'll also be able to do World Tour Wednesday as well. But as you guys know, there's not going to be very many videos at all this week. And the reason, essentially speaking, why is because obviously we need to now focus on putting together the finishing touches to get the Korea video out. It's been long enough, and I'm really excited about it. But it's been a perfectionist thing, and I know whatever it looks like, I'm never going to be 100% happy with it. I know that. So I need to get it to a point where I can say, well, look, this is good enough. This is something where I'm happy to put it out. As always, I mean, as I've said from day one, as you guys know, I am aware that the hype massively exceeds the actual product. It's not going to be anywhere near the world-changing piece of footage that I'm sure many of you have been waiting for. But it's pretty fucking bizarre. Pretty weird. So if you want to hear the nice little tale of something that I haven't really told anyone about, I've been very good at keeping my lips stum. Some people know a few details, but most people don't really know anything. If you want to see a really bizarre story, I want to present it to you guys well. So at least for you, even if it's not like a world-changing piece of footage, those of you who've waited for it will at least get to see it delivered in a nice, palatable, and well-explained manner. Because it's such a complex story. At some points, it gets so complicated that I've been having to think about what things can be removed. Kind of like how they edited the footage for this Songs of Tokyo. I need to think about what can be removed and what can be properly edited to make the story palatable, so you're not having to listen to all the boring, complicated details, but instead you can focus on the fun, chewy, gossipy bits of information and the interesting footage and just the weird things that happened. I put out like a little bit of a, just for a bit of fun, I put like a little, I wouldn't even call it a movie poster, just like a little scene, a little image, just to get people interested. And I think that alludes a little bit so you guys at least get the rough tone of what we're talking about here. Because tonally, it's very strange. It was really hard to like judge the tone for this, because it was just so weird. It was kind of hard, and a lot of it is narration. It is very exposition heavy, because the problem is that it's, with the limited amount of footage I had to work with, I shot a lot of footage, but there's so much complexity and so much time that this story spans, that it was hard to really explain the sort of underpinnings, the things, that the whole mood surrounding the incident, because a lot of it's driven by, I don't want to make it sound overly dramatical, but there was a very psychological element to what was going on, and it's very hard to convey that just with the footage that I have, because the footage that I have ultimately just looks like holiday footage. So there's a lot of exposition in there. So like I say, it's just trying to edit it so that it's not overly waffle heavy, so that the footage comes across well, so that the story makes sense. So like I say, we've got everything we need sorted out. All the footage is ready to go. Just, I need to spend next week. I'll put out some reviews just to keep the channel bubbling along, but I will basically be sitting down, focusing on cutting and editing the footage so that, we've got a really good final product there. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the things there. Best Scandal and Kiss from Darkness, final thoughts, says Harry. Yeah, that's been one of the things that's been dragging on forever, isn't it? I meant to do it on Scandal Weekend, but then I got so obsessed with listening to... Actually, that was the biggest problem. I got so interested in listening to new songs that I hadn't heard from them before. That's actually what stopped me doing it. Because I think you might remember. I think I did 5 Scandal songs. I did enough that I had to sort of layer it over more than 2 days. I think it went into the Friday as well. Was it 5 or 6? I think it was 5. No, it was 6, wasn't it? It was 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. Yeah, I did 6 songs. So as a result, I just got so into listening to new songs because I was really enjoying it. Because I got you guys to vote for a list of songs, and I was gonna cherry pick the top 4, but then I kind of stretched it to a bigger list just because I was really enjoying it, and that kind of stopped me doing the final thoughts. But the good thing is I had enough time to listen to those 2 albums, and I have listened to those 2 albums a fair few times actually. I'm at least when I give my final thoughts now, I've had a real good time to gestate them and really give a lot of information, because it's been, I mean, since I did the reviews of those, it's been the better half of a year for those as well. It's been about 8 months, because I think it was in December, wasn't it, that I listened to no, Kiss from the Darkness was in February, and I know that I did I'm pretty certain that I did Best Scandal in December. So 8 months Best Scandal and 6 months for Kiss from the Darkness, as far as I'm aware. So I've had a long time to gestate on them. I think most of you know my thoughts on those albums anyway, but it is good, as Harry points out, to put them into good form, explain them properly. Harry, other Scandal fans, should I use Love Survivor from Osaka Joe? Oh, you're asking other Scandal fans. That's a good point. Bish fans on Reddit. By the way, nice to have you here, by the way, Bish fans on Reddit. I'm guessing that might be because you came across my posts on the Bish Discord, maybe. Rena is Best Scandal. Tomomi Can has 2nd place. Okay. Yeah, I got to admit, I've never managed to achieve a proper hashtag no bias bias for Scandal, but I must admit, if I was asked to pick, I would probably lean towards Rena. I think I always have a default position of favouring people who are in, shall we say, the underestimated positions in the band, like keyboard players, drummers, etc. Especially when they've got good personalities to back it up. So Sven's saying Mammy is the best no bias. If I was really to pick a no bias for Scandal, I would pick Mammy's guitar, because I think a lot of you guys know I am not a big fan of what most people consider to be good guitars. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for guitars that play well. I mean, a PRS, if you've ever played a PRS and you're a guitar player, it is truly phenomenal. You just feel like it's like, you know, just having autonomy over the guitar. You can just play any note, your hand just moves perfectly. It's a wonderful guitar. But PRSs are the most boring looking guitars I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it literally looks like the old people's home of guitar design. It's like, where is your inspiration? This thing is dull. But you look at Mammy's guitar, which I'm assuming they all play expensive, good quality guitars, but it's a fairly generic one. It's a Telecaster, I think, isn't it, if I remember correctly? But anyway, the design is really awesome. I love the design. It's bright, it's colourful, it's not cheesy. I would personally go for a cheesy guitar, but it's not cheesy, but it looks cool. I love it. I love Mammy's guitar. So if I was really to pick up a favourite, I'd go for Mammy's guitar. Honey was the previous album, says Bish fans. Yep. I'm looking forward to that. A lot of people have given me interesting comments about that, so I'm looking forward to getting around to that. PK is going for Arena bias as well. Harry is Tomomi all the way. Harry, Mamicast. Oh, the Telecaster, the Mamicaster is indeed nice. Yeah. Everyone's jumping on the Mamicaster now. I love that guitar. I think it's really beautiful. Nice touch. Because if it was me designing, because I'm colorblind, I just like bright colors and things that look cheesy and cartoony, I wouldn't have gone for the black undercolor. I'd have gone for a different undercolor. However, if you're going to go for something sober that looks like an adult would play it, which is of course where I would fail, then yes, she's gone for a brilliant choice. By the way, let's have a little look at the desktop. Who is there? Da 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 da. Well, now she knows who I am. Oh dear. Yeah, the wallpaper changer is active as ever. Cheers all. That's the other thing. Since resolving things with my girlfriend, I have to remember to change the wallpaper again, because I can't have her on my wallpaper during live chat. That went right in my eye. How did that go in my eye when I'm wearing glasses? Back on with the glasses. All right, so I'll look at some of the things. Asian Kung Fu Generations only uses Gibson guitars. Gibson are brilliant. I think it was about 10 years ago that they had that thing where they. No, I don't know. Did they? I don't think they sued Epiphone. But I know they had some sort of issue with Epiphone because Epiphone, turns out that Epiphone, who effectively take the designs from Gibson, had been commented by several reviewers to be producing better quality guitars than Gibson at a tenth of the price. And there was some kind of issue that ended up becoming publicly known about between Gibson and Epiphone. I had a fantastic, just a gorgeous Epiphone SG, red SG, beautiful. But because I'm not a guitar snob and because I value friendship, when I moved to Japan and I wasn't able to carry lots of heavy things, I gave it to my best and oldest Japanese friend, who she'd been through a lot of stuff, and she was she's just amazing musician, amazing pianist. I've played music with her live several times, and I didn't really have the room to hold on to all these musical instruments, and she wanted to learn guitar. She had a young daughter as well who also wanted to play around and do some music, who was already learning to play piano herself. So I gave it to them. I said, you should have this as a family guitar. I want you two to enjoy this. And all my guitar friends, including Steve, wanted to kill me. But I still maintain it's one of the nicest, most correct, most noble decisions I ever made, and I honestly don't regret it. Yeah, there are times when I wish I had that guitar with me, but I don't know. This goes back to the whole thing I say about music snobbery and the use of music language and various things. I think music is at its heart a form of communication. I think it is not something that anyone cannot do, if that makes sense. I think anyone can get into music and produce something, even if it's as simple as sitting down and just banging out a tune or banging out a beat on the table whilst humming something from the top of your head. Anyone can make music, and so if I got a choice between me having an expensive guitar and inspiring two people to play some guitar, I'd rather inspire two people to play some guitar. So yeah, I really am that. I'm not an equipment hoarder. I need to have all the right equipment because I want to be able to produce whatever I want to produce. I want to have the full range of variety. But to be honest, for me, the difference between having an expensive guitar and having a cheap guitar doesn't really change what I can make. Maybe if I was like a really high-level classically trained or virtuoso guitarist, maybe that would be an issue. But I'm not. A rhythm guitarist who can do basic lead, who can rip off a few simple solos, that's what I do. So I don't need that expensive guitar. It was a joy to have it, but it was more of a joy to see someone else having it more. Guitar fans all come around and kill me. Very pale looking beer, switched up to vodka. This is in fact Chuhai. It's the old 9% Strongs. I go for the grapefruit one because the lemon one's just way too bitter for me. Although my favourite one is you can't get it, and I think you should get it more often. There was a pineapple one that Kieran was doing that was just brilliant. It was one of the best tasting vodka-based drinks I've ever had. Chuhai, just in case you don't know, is based on shochu, which is basically like rice formed vodka, basically Asian vodka. No potatoes, rice. Well noticed though, Forbleeds. Thank you. Scott, Mammy's Les Paul. I don't know Mammy's Les Paul. I'm a big fan. Actually, one of the reasons I love Les Pauls, the first time I ever really noticed Les Pauls was when I was young. The lead singer from Everclear, who a lot of you guys know, I liked them a lot growing up, and I still actually really enjoy them. He played a Les Paul a lot. I remember looking at it, and around that time, because that was around the time, late 90s, everyone was playing like Strats. Everyone was playing Strats, or sometimes Tellys, but everyone was on a Stratocaster. It was kind of like the poppy punky guitar, and all the heavy metal bands were using PRSs. And I just saw this Les Paul, and I looked at it, and I was like, that just looks nice. I like the shape of it. Looked more interesting. And obviously, as a kid, you don't really, you can't see the quality of a guitar. You look at a guitar, and what you notice is it a nice shape? Does it a nice color? Does it look good? And for me, like Les Pauls were always great. So I've had a few Les Pauls. I wanted to get one in Japan, but it's been kind of difficult to get a good enough one to play because I like to get my guitars second hand. A lot of Les Pauls, when you buy them here, they're guitars people hold on to, so you only get them second hand if they're kind of broken and chewed up. But I got my little Strat here, betraying the team perhaps. But actually, when I went to buy the SG, I was originally looking for a Les Paul. But then I bought the SG because it was just kind of like, it was a red SG, and I just kind of, something about it, it really took me. It looked very unique. I'd never seen anyone else I knew having a red SG before, or an SG at all. That guitar was beautiful though, really wonderful guitar. Um, I want a guitar too, so give me one. Man, if you can get to London, I've got a lockup full of guitars. I'd gladly give you one. In fact, I mean, thing is, I've got someone who looks after that lockup for me, completely free of charge. It's on a friend of mine has property, and it's on there. And potentially speaking, they could give it to you. The only problem is postage. I don't know anyone who'd be able to pay the postage, because postage on a guitar is very expensive. But if any of you guys wanted one and you were in London and able to pick it up, I might be able to sort something out for you. Let me know. They're all sort of old second-hand guitars that I've used to death anyway, but still. Ladies and gentlemen, there is sweet potato shochu and corn shochu too. Anything containing corn, in my opinion, can go straight to hell. But that's just because I despise corn. I despise corn. I hate corn. Corn I hate. It's the texture, it's the taste, it's the smell. The smell is the worst thing in the world. If someone opens a can of corn potage, then either I have to leave or they have to go out the window. I hate corn. And for someone who's, my favorite place in the world is Hokkaido, where corn is like the staple diet of many. I hate corn. You have no idea how much I hate corn. And no one seems to understand this. Sorry, you weren't even talking about corn really, but I just got obsessed because you said corn. And it kind of freaked me out and bothered me. But yeah, actually, what you're talking about there, you're talking about more proper shochu. Chuhai is kind of like the 9%, the lighter version. But shochu is, as a general, is a really nice. It's a good sake equivalent. In the same way that sake is the Asian equivalent of wine, shochu is the Asian equivalent of vodka. Balances. Scott, Pelham Blue with natural back and sides. Give me one moment. I knew it. Sorry, I heard Pelham Blue somewhere before, but I couldn't picture it, so I had to. So I was like, wait, I'm going to comment, but I could be completely wrong about what I'm commenting on. That's a nice look. I mean, I'll be honest with you, because I'm a bit of a fan of the bright and the tacky, partly because I'm colorblind. I've got a broad spectrum color blindness, which means I can only see bright colors. So I can see all colors, but only if they're above a certain amplitude of brightness. In the same way, if you walk into a dark room, you can still kind of see what's there, but you can't really see the colors. Similar thing for me. Everything's kind of grey up until a certain brightness. So I like bright things. So therefore, like, natural wood has never really appealed to me because it just doesn't have a colour to me. On a natural look, I tend to like everything to look plasticky and cheap. So I know. One of my favourite guitars, I really want that Daisy Rock Daisy that they used to have about 20 years ago. That guitar is obscene. It's disgusting. And I love it. So Bish fans of Reddit says, I kind of like Freak on a Leash. They went that bad. They weren't that bad. As in Freak on a Leash by Korn. Oh, so you're making a joke about the Korn. Yeah, okay, yeah. I walked into that. I walked straight up to the door, knocked on the door, walked straight in. Korn the band, as that whole new metal thing went, they weren't too bad. They had their moments. They had their moments of total awfulness as well, but they had some good moments as well. Harry, thank you for dropping a link. I don't know what it is, and I don't think I can open it anyway right now, but I'll keep a note on that. All right, people are sending me corn emojis. I know where this is going. If I see a French bear eating corn, no. No French bears eating corn, all right? Potato of Mammy's Gretsch. Oh, photo. I said potato. It looked like potato. Photo of Mammy's Gretsch. Actually, the best Gretsch I've ever seen was Katie Tunstall has a Gretsch, the Gold Sparkle Jet. That guitar, man. The thing is, it looks really uncomfortable because it looks too big for a human being to play. It's like holding a cello. But that is a beautiful guitar, and it sounds wonderful because she goes for that more sort of bright guitar sound, and she gets a really great sound out of that. I've actually been, although Katie Tunstall isn't the sort of music I would usually listen to, I've been quite a big fan of hers for quite a while, and I love how she's changed up her style over the years. Gretsch was founded by a German in the US. The name kind of gives that away. This explains the sh in Gretsch. Oh, you said it yourself. All right, fair enough. So yeah, I think I'm pronouncing it right when I say Gretsch. Gretsch. I think ch. Like that's the SCH. I think of like Schumacher, Michael Schumacher. Schumacher. Gretsch. I'm sure there's a much more intricate way to pronounce that than my ugly splattering of phlegm across the microphone. Germans, I'm sure, can do it with a lot more control. However, I'm going to say it that way anyway. Oops, says Lazy Lion. Oops in regards to the corn. There can be no oops in regards to the corn. All right, I'm just going to dive back to a little bit in regards to... because I think we said pretty much everything you can do with the minute amount of material we had to work with. We said a lot about the interview, the Bish interview. Just to reiterate for anyone who's just coming into this now, it was amusing to only get to say one line, which was about my notoriously mute subject of choreography. You guys know that I don't like talking about choreography because I know that I know nothing. And yet that is what they... that's what they got me to talk about. Like, come on. But actually, I liked the show. I thought the show was well done. I think from the perspective, you have to view it from your perspective as someone who knows that you had this really intriguing 45-minute conversation with the interviewers and how much the producer was really into the conversation. But I also know that my answers were very long form, and considering the format of the show, I probably should have... they gave me the impression it was a new show, but now I see there's been plenty of... They had a Wagaki Band episode before. I didn't know about that. Having seen it now, I would have probably worded my answers better, so a bit of my fault for not pre-researching a bit more. But I went for proper long-form answers. I gave them full in-depth answers, and I think I shot myself in the foot there. But I will be getting hold of a full copy of that interview for you guys so that I can post it on my YouTube so that you can see it. And on top of that, I just wanted to say as well that I did enjoy the show. I thought it was a good show, even though it didn't really give me any chance to express any opinions. But it was worth it just to get a rise out of Momoko, which was funny as hell. Specifically getting her to respond to herself. Oh man, let's have a look at some of the comments coming in. The young corn pose. What's a corn pose? Corn pose is like this. Is that a corn pose? Head of corn? Maybe. You are here, this is your part. Says Bish fans of Reddit. You are here, this is your part. I sometimes, because of a delay between what I say, it coming onto the actual live stream about 30 seconds later, because there's a time delay, and then you guys replying, sometimes you say something and I've completely forgotten what you're replying to. You are here, this is your part. Why can't I remember what you're replying to? I don't get it. Help me. And then when you help me, I'll forget that I asked you for help, and then I won't know what you're helping me for, and I'll be even more confused. Joys of intelligence, people. Joys of intelligence. I wish I had it. All right. Can I send sounds for the song? Sven, if you've got more sounds, send them along, actually. I mean, actually, that's a fair point, really. We should have been doing the song today, shouldn't we? And I know that the next live stream will be after the Korea video, so we're probably not going to be doing this song for another 2 weeks now, actually. Okay, after the Korea video, we really need to knuckle down and get on with the song, because I really want to get that finished. I'm really enjoying that. Just a lot of things have kind of distracted me. But yeah, I really want to get back into that. And we made some interesting edits last time. We were at a very interesting impasse last time we did that, where we had kind of some things that were working with the song, some things that weren't, but overall we had all the right ingredients. It was just putting them together. We were starting to get to that point where we were having to adjust and put everything together. So certainly next week is going to be related to the live stream will be after the Korea video, so it'll be basically us talking about the Korea video for the best part. And then the one after that, I think we need to jump back into the song. Sven, if you would like to send me anything, please do. Let me just check. I want to be sure that I give you the right, because we were using a different email account on the last channel. I'm pretty sure most of you've got the new email account, but I want to be really cautious that you don't send your stuff to a dead email account. I'd feel quite awful if you did that and I missed it. So I'm just going to, if my computer ever decides to join me in the real world, I'm just going to send you the email address. Come on, computer. I'm not a big fan of Gmail, actually. I know everyone uses it, but I do think it's pretty crap. The way it organizes your folders is just irritating. It's impossible to, the way it organizes junk mail, and then you have like an inbox and an inbox for relevant and irrelevant stuff. It's like, just tell me what's arrived, all right? I need to mollycoddle me through the mail. I can rifle through it myself. Thank you very much. Yeah, my computer's slowed down ever since I tried to open Gmail. Quality. Just want to I'll get back to you in that in a minute, Sven. But let me just quickly check Harry's comment. I'm slightly disappointed they didn't play standard on the live stream, but I guess the young corn pose would have been difficult in the dress Mammy was wearing. So I guess we're talking about something to do with Scandal here that I don't know. Did you add a cowbell solo yet? There can never be enough cowbell. Not yet, but it'll come. Yeah, especially because there were so few Mammy parts there. She sings in the stream. Interesting. I didn't see the stream in question, so I'm probably best not commenting on that. Oh, come on, Gmail. How can you be this bad? Oh, Jesus. All right, here we go. So, Sven, here is the email address, and that's for anyone else who wants to send anything to put in the song. If you're sending something for me to put in the song, clearly label it. If you don't clearly label it, then I don't know it's for the song. So just say something in like capitals, like for the song, or backup broadcast, or just something so I know it's to be looked at. Because I like I say, Gmail has a habit of it filters my emails really weirdly, and so I have to trawl through all kinds of stupid stuff to find what I want. So make it easy to find would be really greatly appreciated. All right, we've got a few minutes left. We're going to round this one out an hour because I need to get some rest. I've got an early start tomorrow. However, yeah, like I say, we're going to really get into it next week. So I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited about next. I'm genuinely excited to get this career video done. Part of me is apprehensive because I know it's going to be kind of a difficult one to get it done by the deadline. But I had to set the deadline because it's been for so long. I need to have something to drive me. So the idea is to have it come out on Sunday night right before the live stream. So it might be something like 11 p.m. or midnight Japan time. So factor that in. So it will be right before when the live stream would normally occur. And yeah, as well as anything, I'm just excited to see it myself. You know, it's like it's been so long. And I look at a lot of this footage and it's over a year old. And I'm looking at it like, whoa. Old footage. And yet I can remember so vividly a lot of the feelings, a lot of the things that I went through there. Compiling it was the big deal. There's so much of it to go through. Videos, photos. But like I say, it was interesting because I tried to document everything, but the one thing that was impossible to document was the real feeling of what it felt like. And I know at the time I consciously tried to video some things that kind of demonstrated what I was going through in a very sort of visceral, tangible way, but it was difficult to do. It was one of those things where I think when you get around to hearing it and when I get around to explaining what was happening, just the sheer notion of what was going on will probably convey it. But it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. So I'm really looking for, like I said, I can't wait to get that across, and I really hope it comes across properly. Lazy Line, nice band name, Young Corn Posse. Still not as good as Pink Fluffy Pentagrams. Harry, they played almost every song from Kiss from the Darkness on the stream. Only Mabataki and You Go Girl was missing. That's a kind of a shame. If you're going to do all of them and you miss two, that seems like a bit of a shame. But especially when it's You Go Girl, that should have been included definitely for obvious reasons. But still, that's cool. Maybe they had some logistical reason why they didn't feel they could play those songs. Martin, welcome, Martin. Try all mail tab on the left-hand side of a Gmail to get all the emails unfiltered. You, sir, are a genius. If I'm not going to reopen it now because it will make my computer slow down. But if that is a thing that it does, which obviously it is because you know, then that's worth me doing. Although, does that include junk mail? I mean, the way I've got my Hotmail set up, yeah, Hotmail, I'm that old, but Hotmail works. is that basically you've got different levels of security. I think this is normal for most people's emails. But you've got different levels of security. And I've got it set to the one where basically I have a list. Everything goes to junk mail unless you're on an approved list. So basically I check my email every day in my inbox. I know that's where I find things that from people I know. And then every day I go into my junk mail, just check what's come out in the last 24 hours. And if there's something which is from someone who I need to add, I just click it, move it out of junk, add them to the list. Done. 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 I don't see why that is not the perfect system. So long as all mail doesn't basically give you junk mail thrown in, I just want the Hotmail system. I just want the Hotmail system. Hotmail system works. But thank you anyway. At least someone knows what they're doing on my email. Harry, but they played Living in the City and Spice instead. Well, that's nice. That's nice. I remember I was doing a review in London of, we're going to go back now, of Fun Loving Criminals. And they were doing the entire, I think it was the 100% Colombian album. It was the one that had Scooby Snacks on. And I was reviewing their live show. They did the whole album. And then afterwards they did their hits. Like the songs that people knew off of that album. I thought that was a really good way of managing it. If you're going to do your album, then have like a little encore where you come back and you just play for like half an hour, just play like all your hits, or I think it was longer than that. They had got quite a good show out of it actually, and it was a fantastic setup because everyone knew the album, so they could enjoy the album. They could talk people through the album, and then they could lay out the other songs they had, which were hits, even if not necessarily the international ones, but ones they had success with. I thought that was a really good format. I really enjoyed that, and I think that's something any band could do, especially Scandal. I mean, Jesus, they got enough songs, didn't they? Let's have a look here. Howdy, also sneaking. Howdy, mate. I've only got a few minutes left before we round this one up, but definitely this is a good one for playback. I think we had a lot of interesting points. Oh, what? My phone rang and then stopped. What was that? Oh, I'm getting a message. It's really bad that I'm texting on this. I just have to reply to this. Sorry about this, guys. Actually, wait a second. I've got a tab specially for this. Wait. Oh, look at that. Alrighty, let's get this back on. Hey, how's you doing? So, where are we going? Alright, let's have a look and see what everyone's saying. Howard, there is an extremely cursed image on your Discord right now. Did you give corn to a bear? I don't care for it 1 hour. You guys wait while I check this out. I'm like the angry teacher. I'm going into the classroom. I'm going to check out what happened. If there's a bear with corn, Internet detention. Internet detention means you have to watch Coldplay videos on stream for an hour. Let's check this out. You and your cursed image. I'm really interested to see what everyone was writing on Discord during my non-appearance. Let's check this out. Let's check this out. Let's check this out. Wow. Okay. Ever since I opened Gmail, my computer's slowed down. There's certain things that slow down your computer, and Gmail is one of them. Come on. Yeah, Discord's ground to halt. Well, Discord's not exactly the fastest thing ever, but it's pretty good. It's just, yeah. Maybe I should restart the browser, but obviously if I restart the browser, it will kill the stream. Give me a second. I'm trying to get to your image, but just, Google Chrome combined with bad programming. Anyway, I'll read on and I'll come back to that in a minute. They also didn't play the concert standard song Doll, but since that has a big crowd interact with the towel spinning during the chorus, I can understand that. Again, I haven't got much to say this because I didn't actually see the live. Probably, if anyone is looking to kill time, this released a 5-hour-long video of 101 consecutive takes of curtain call. That'll test your stamina. Certainly sounds like it would. Corn dog, corn bear. I'm terrified. It still hasn't even got past the open Discord in your browser screen. That never works. But it's cathartic. Yeah, I don't think Discord's going to open. It's just dead. That's just really disappointing. Just Discord just isn't even able to open. All right, fair enough. 4 Bleats. I already told Howard to react to the entire video to test his sanity. Oh, that's what we meant by long videos. I see. If you want to see the Scandal stream concert, Howard, let me know. I have a copy of it. I've got access to a few. We shared a couple of cloud accounts. If it's in one of them, can you tell me? Like DM me if it's one of them, because then that's cool, because then I can sit back and watch it. And if it was a recent one, I might even be able to do a review of it. But I'm wondering though whether maybe that's a good idea, whether maybe that'll scupper me doing certain other future reviews. But if it's mainly Kiss from the Darkness, then it should be okay, because I've heard that album anyway. Okay, yeah, give it a go anyway. Drop me a link. All right, I've managed to get Discord. Seems to be open now. Wow, it's the slowness. I'm going to read some of your comments. Shit, I didn't record the beginning. I was watching your review. The streaming quality is awful as always, Howard. Beautiful. He shows up for like 20 seconds, says hello, Motto. True. 45 minutes condensed to 45 seconds. Damn right. Howard can make a member cry as well. I didn't make anyone cry. That's a shame. That's a shame. I wasn't working for tears. Maybe I should have gone for that Korean drama value and told them that Bish saved my dog who was run over by Nazis. No bias. Anticlimactic, says Caldiff. Damn right. Much screen time for Howard, says Sven. All the interviews were incredibly short. However, I believe Howard was the shortest. Howard got 15 seconds of fame. Literally, yeah, it was a real non-existent. Also on YouTube, Vicious Songs. Oh, someone's already uploaded it to YouTube. Jesus. And there we go. Cursed image. PK has put corn with the bear. Now that image is truly evil. Bears with corn. In my Google Drive, 2-hour show, says Harry. Awesome, thanks. I got to do the Bandmade one first of all, because obviously that's the first one I did recently. That was a really interesting show, and plus the Bandmade one gave me a lot to say about the way that live shows are being done this year on the internet as well. So that was a really interesting one. I got a lot to say about that also. All right, guys. Anyway, this has been fantastic. It's been really interesting as always. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for everyone who sat down and watched the NHK show, even if I was barely on it. At least I got that one screenshot of me making Momoko happy. So look, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am going to round things out as usual by just basically saying gracias to you all, and hopefully we will speak very soon. I'm getting more messages. I've got to reply to that in a second. All right, so thank you so much from here in Japan. Stop. And for now, you have a lovely evening. We'll talk again next week after the Korea video, and I'll try and get some videos during the day, during the week. God, stop message. Just one message is enough. Write what you're thinking and press enter. But for now, from Japan, ciao, ciao.